There are stories that pass from mouth to mouth, whispered in hushed tones around campfires, or posted in dimly lit forums at 3 a.m. They always sound like urban legends, fabricated nightmares meant to thrill and terrify. You might roll your eyes at them, dismiss them as ghost stories meant for entertainment. But some stories stick with you. Some stories feel different. This is one of those stories. And if you don't believe it, well, that's up to you.
Have you ever felt unseen eyes watching you in the dark? Welcome to Nightfall Crypt, where shadows whisper, the unknown lingers, and every story is waiting for you to listen, if you dare.
Ethan pulled into the small town just as the sun dipped below the horizon. He had been driving for hours, exhaustion weighing heavy on his bones. The Willow's Rest Inn was a charming, old-fashioned bed and breakfast tucked between the skeletal remains of autumn trees, their branches twisting in the wind like bony fingers. The owner, a wiry older man with a knowing gaze, handed him a brass key as he checked in. "Your room is upstairs, second on the right," he said, then added in a quieter tone, "The room next to yours is under repair. Don't go inside, and don't try to open the door." Ethan frowned at the oddly specific warning but shrugged it off. He was here for a night's rest, nothing more. Upstairs, his room was small but comfortable. After setting his bag down, he sat on the bed, flipping through the few channels on the TV. Static. Old infomercials. A news anchor droning about something he didn't care about. Boredom crept in. Ethan found himself wandering the dimly lit hallways, his footsteps muffled by the old carpet. Curiosity got the better of him, and he stopped outside the under-repair room. The door was locked. He tried the handle just to be sure. Why would the owner even bother warning me, he thought. It's locked anyway. But then, he noticed the keyhole. A silly impulse made him crouch down and press his eye to it. The room beyond was not under repair. It was completely empty, except for a single wooden chair in the farthest corner, and someone was sitting in it. The figure faced the wall, completely motionless. Their clothing was pale, almost colorless, blending into the dim surroundings. Ethan's breath hitched, his heart pounded against his ribs. Something about the figure felt wrong. He pulled away, rubbing his arms against the sudden chill that crept over him. His mind raced. Had he imagined it? A nervous chuckle escaped his lips. "I need some sleep," he muttered, shaking his head. Just to reassure himself, he bent down and looked through the keyhole again. This time, he saw nothing. No chair, no figure, just a deep, vivid red. Like someone had pressed a sheet of red paper against the other side. A cold dread slithered through him, tightening around his chest. His mouth felt dry. He stood quickly, retreating to his room, locking the door behind him. Sleep did not come easily that night. The next morning, Ethan sat in the breakfast room, sipping coffee, his hands still slightly unsteady. The owner poured him another cup. Ethan hesitated, then asked casually, "So, that room next to mine, what's the deal with it?" The owner sighed, stirring his own coffee. "Truthfully, I don't rent it out anymore. Too many guests complained." Ethan frowned. "Complained about what?" The owner's expression darkened. "They all claimed to see something in there, a figure. Some even said they saw it move." Ethan's pulse quickened. He set his cup down carefully. I did see something," he admitted. "A person sitting in a chair, but when I looked again, all I saw was red." The owner's grip on his spoon tightened, his knuckles whitening. Red? His voice was barely above a whisper. Ethan nodded. Yeah, like someone covered the keyhole with red cloth or paper. The owner's gaze locked onto his, the air between them thick with an unspoken horror. "Son," the old man said after a pause, his voice low and grave, "that room is haunted by a woman who died in there decades ago." Ethan felt his stomach drop. The owner's next words made his blood run cold. "They say she had strikingly red eyes."
And so, the shadows stretch further, and the mystery only deepens. But this is far from the end. It's merely the beginning. What lingers beyond the door? Who is whispering your name? And what is that shifting in the corner of your eye? The answers await in the next chapter of these chilling tales. Subscribe to Nightfall Crypt and hit the notification bell, because the crypt's secrets are endless and the darkness never sleeps. Until next time, stay in the light if you can.